two beautiful children, what more would you want? And I didn't believe what she said anyway. So I said, I want my husband. And she said, well, and she looked down the whole time.
Welcome to MsMojo, where we'll be doing a detailed breakdown of every single cheating scandal in the House of Windsor, at least since Elizabeth II's coronation.
It's instigated a huge worldwide craze.
Yeah, as it did at the time, of course, but there's more to this, as there always is.
Revelations about Prince Andrew over the years have fueled rumours about his infidelities. Turns out he's not the only one who's been unfaithful in the family. Christian monarchs historically have what's called the divine right of kings, which means only God can judge a monarch.
This house has time and again expressed its wholehearted loyalty to the crown.
The UK has largely abandoned the idea since the 17th century, but the royals can still get away with a lot more than regular folk. This includes cheating, which is fairly common, likely because they tend to marry for reasons aside from love.
Married Catherine Brackensall, she was a love so true. There would never be another, well, maybe one or two. Lucy Walton, Nell Gwynn, Moll Davis, Barbara Villiers. You think that's bad, but her name's not as silly as...
Additionally, the royals used to encourage taking mistresses until around the 19th century, so it's not quite as taboo for them as it is for us. Princess Anne is Elizabeth II's only daughter, who was first married to horseman Mark Phillips in 1973. In 1985, Phillips ended up cheating on Anne with a New Zealand art teacher named Heather Tonkin.
And the constant questions about my marriage all the time. About Mark.
Yes, how is Mark?
That's it, exactly like that. How is Mark? Mark's fine. I'm fine. The children are fine.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Only there has been talk.
The pair even had a child together named Felicity, who has supposedly never met her half-siblings. The unfaithfulness was reciprocated by Anne, who was rumoured to have had an affair with her bodyguard, Sergeant Peter Cross.
He felt compelled to mention rumours about a Sergeant Cross and the two of you being intimate.
He became her bodyguard in 1979, but had to leave the role after a year due to rumours. Another alleged affair of hers was with Commander Timothy Lawrence, who became her second husband in 1992.
Well, you cannot have all of me, and I will not give all of me. I will marry Tim.
Both of these are discussed in The Crown, and she's still married to Lawrence today. King Charles III married his first wife, Princess Diana, in 1981, 11 years after he first met Camilla Shand.
Walking down the aisle, I spotted Camilla. Pale grey, veiled hat, pillbox hat, saw it all. Her son Tom standing on a chair, to this day, vivid memory. And I thought, well, there we are, that's it. Let's hope that's all over with.
Apparently, it was love at first sight. That didn't stop them both from marrying other people, with Camilla tying the knot with a cavalry officer in 1973. Neither of them was happy in their marriages, motivating them to cheat further in the 80s. In 1989, Diana confronted Camilla, who responded by saying Diana's got everything she ever wanted, and asked, what more does she want? Diana replied, I want my husband.
I said to Camilla, I'm sorry I'm in the way. I obviously am in the way. And it must be hell for both of you. But I didn't know what's going on, don't you?
Unfortunately, things only deteriorated from there.
Camilla is who I want. That is where my loyalties lie. That is who my priority is.
Not the mother of your children.
Don't bring the boys into this.
All right. Not the woman you married!
I refuse to be blamed any longer for this grotesque misalliance!
The two divorced in 1996, and Diana died only a year later. The public was initially opposed to Charles and Camilla's relationship, but they married in 2005 once tensions cooled. Diana was and still is one of the most cherished royals from recent history. Well, like all humans, she wasn't perfect and was as faithful to Charles as he was to her.
And the minute Harry was born and duty was done, the marriage was effectively over, and they started to find comfort in the arms of others.
How many others?
Diana's been with her bodyguard, her riding instructor,
Her first rumoured affair was with her bodyguard, Monarchy, in 1985, who had to be dismissed a year later. Second was with James Hewitt, a cavalry officer she admitted to being romantically involved with in the late 80s.
But Diana, Aunt Margot tells me at Kensington Palace it's like a revolving door. The suitors park outside her office because it's the only place with no security cameras. One after another. In and out. In and out.
Her most infamous affair was with James Gilby, which led to the Squidgygate scandal. A phone call between the pair was leaked, with Gilby calling her Squidge or Squidgy 14 times. After Gilby, there are at least 7 other men she was rumoured to be romantically entwined with.
I'm not answering that. I'm not speaking on this thing again, ever. I heard a click on the line this morning.
The Duke of Edinburgh was Elizabeth II's husband from 1947 until he died in 2021. While their marriage was often idolised by the public, there were a handful of cheating rumours during their 7-decade-long marriage.
Why did you never do that for me?
Dance on your birthday?
Yes. Like Salome.
Because, if memory serves, you had your own ballerinas for that.
In the 40s, Philip was rumoured to be secretly seeing actress Pat Kirkwood. Other figures he was rumoured were Katie Boyle, Helene Caudette, Merle Oberon, Daphne du Maurier, Princess Alexandra, the Duchess of Abercorn, and Penelope Penny Knatchbull. The final affair was covered in The Crown.
Surprising, isn't it? Yes! More fun than it looks. Yes!
According to royal biographer Sarah Bradford, the Queen was aware of his affairs, but didn't mind. None were ever confirmed, with all parties denying these affairs, so take them with a grain of salt.
You need to do what you need to do. I can look the other way.
Yes, I know you can look the other way. You've raised looking the other way into an art form.
Prince William, the current heir to the British throne, is another widely loved royal.
And, you know, I've got enough trouble with my dancing recently, so it's kind of best to keep away from that, to be honest.
He's been married to Kate Middleton since 2011, and the pair have since become an iconic couple. There have been no confirmed affairs in their relationship, but there have been whispers that William was sleeping with Rose Hanbury, a peeress and former model. Speculation about this first arose in 2019 and returned in 2022.
And putting the marriage on long run.
That's because Dumois was sent a message saying one of the royal wives doesn't mind her husband cheating, as long as it doesn't become emotional. Of course, that's not a reputable source, so it might be entirely untrue.
And you obviously also like flirting as soon as my back is turned. And hitting on other people.
What?
We're on the same course.
That's a bit out of order. We were just talking about an essay.
And how exceptional Kate is.
Before getting into the more recent Prince Andrew revelations, we should take a step back to discuss his marriage to Sarah Fergie Ferguson.
People tell me I put my foot in it from time to time. At least I don't put it in someone's mouth. Can you imagine? Your actual foot.
They married in 1986 and only spent 40 days of the year together in the following 5 years. In 1992, a huge scandal erupted after Fergie was photographed in a compromising position with her financial advisor, John Bryan.
We were playing games, and one of the games wound up being sort of Cinderella, and Cinderella with the shoes and the toes and everything else that took place.
This was only a few months after they'd announced their separation, but they didn't officially divorce until 1996.
And I thought to myself, what in the world could be $12 million worth of photos?
If you thought that was bad, just wait until you hear the complicated mess of allegations about Andrew. The Prince Andrew and Epstein scandal is the second largest royal scandal of the century so far, after Megxit.
I've never really felt the need to go and party, and certainly going to Jeffrey's was not about partying.
In 2011, the press discovered Andrew was friends with convicted criminal Jeffrey Epstein, who was believed to be a despicable person. There have been multiple accusations against Epstein on trafficking women. They also claimed Andrew was involved, pointing to photos of the victims with Andrew from years ago, alongside the flight logs.
We're having tea, and Andrew's talking about Fergie, which is his ex-wife at that point, and Guylain's bad-mouthing Fergie as well, and Epstein's just socially awkward, so I think he's just laughing about everything.
To clear his name, Andrew appeared on Newsnight to defend himself. The interview was a monumental disaster.
We now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March. I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party.
Andrew denied all the allegations, alongside expressing no regret for his friendship with a convicted human trafficker. He said he had no memory of taking the photo and said he broke his friendship with Epstein in 2010.
I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at. And I simply, it was almost impossible for me to sweat.
A 2025 biography called Entitled, The Rise and Fall of the House of York paints a different picture. It says he met Epstein before 1999 and goes into detail about his intimate relationships. If it's taken to be true, then he likely cheated on Fergie too many times to count.
Allegations of wild parties, royal feuds, his rudeness to palace staff, and even a physical fight with Prince Harry, which Prince Harry has now denied.
For example, it states that he once requested 40 women to his hotel in Bangkok. Don't take these claims as fact. A lot of the sources are dubious. For instance, one claimed source is a journalist who found out from someone in Andrew's circle. For all we know, that could just be someone who was in the same room as him. Still, there are so many discrepancies in Andrew's story. It's highly suspicious.
You think that photo has been faked?
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
And you don't recollect having your hand round her waist in Ghislaine Maxwell's house?
The scandal resulted in his resignation from public roles in 2020. One of his victims also took him to court for his alleged crimes, but it was settled out of court in 2022.
In this country, no person, whether president or prince, is above the law, and no person, no matter how powerless or vulnerable, can be deprived of the law's protection.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
So it seems the royals get up to a lot more behind the scenes than most expect.
Some very strange and unpleasant activities have been going on.
It feels like there are more royals involved in cheating scandals than ones who aren't. Some accusations are more credible than others, and a few probably are solely rumours. It makes complete sense though, since they rarely marry for love and they're constantly under the public eye.
I don't think I was happy. I think I never tried to call it off in the sense of really doing that, but I think the worst day of my life.
Therefore, small interactions can be exaggerated and spiral into gossip. They are royals who descend from William the Conqueror, but they're ultimately still human and are prone to making mistakes.
Or perhaps just because it amuses everyone to take two people who are perfectly happy together and to find a reason to break them up, because there is history of that cruelty in his family. Well, I won't stand for it.
Before watching, did you know about all of these, or did you learn something new about the royal family? Let us know in the comment section.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young girl who fell madly in love with a handsome prince. Unfortunately, the prince was already in love with someone else, who was herself in love with someone else, and they all lived unhappily ever after.